Hey guys, welcome to another Thursday edition of the Vinyl Den, your channel for record collecting by record collectors. My name is Nick. And so if you've been watching the show for a while now, you'd probably guess I'm a pretty big fan of bootlegs. I've bought quite a few of them over the last year or so. But there's a general kind of hatred of bootlegs out there in the vinyl community, so that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So if you haven't done so yet, make sure you click on the link down below and go check out our Facebook group. There's tons of cool stuff on there. We growing every day, and I don't know, just it's a great place to talk about vinyl records at. But anyway, go check that out. But so as far as like bootlegs go, it was probably last summer, I think, was really kind of the first time I started getting into them. Just because there's so I'm a big Pink Floyd fan, obviously. If you guys watch the show any length of time for the last 8 or 9 months or so, I'm a big Pink Floyd fan, and there's just a ton of really great Pink Floyd bootlegs out there. A lot of early stuff, a lot of early 70s. I know there's one bootleg I have it's a live bootleg, and it's got a lot of songs that ended up being Dark Side of the Moon, but is before they had actually started the recording process. So it's, some of that stuff's kind of cool to see and listen to things that you just don't hear on a normal basis. And then there's all their bootlegs. Like, I know I have the Fashion Nugget by Cake. It was, I think that was the first Roland Records bootleg that I bought. Sounds absolutely fantastic. I did buy some other bootlegs from Roland Records lately. This is I think I talked about this last week, but this is the Van Halen Balance. And it sounds really good. The only thing is it's a little quiet, a little more quiet than I would have expected. But a lot of that goes back to the how it's sourced, how it's compressed. When they press it on vinyl, and when you compress audio files, it has a tendency to quiet them a little bit. So I'm assuming that's what it is with this. But it sounds fantastic. You should turn it up a little bit more. So another one that I recently got, and I talked about this last week also, is the GNR Lies. And I said I would compare it to my original pressing. So this is an original UK pressing of Lies, and the original pressing definitely sounds better. It definitely has a better sound to it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the bootleg sounds bad. It just has a slightly different sound to it. Both of them sound really good, and this is kind of where I come down on it, is if you were to buy an original pressing of Lies, you're not going to spend, it's not going to spend it won't cost you a whole bunch of money. It's generally 50, 60, 70 bucks. You can normally get a good copy of it off of Discogs or eBay. But if you want to buy Balance, it's going to cost you a couple $100. And that's kind of where I come down on it, is the balance between cost and sound quality. Obviously I want something that's going to sound really good. And for the price of these, they sound really good. I have no problem spending, 30, 35 bucks on a bootleg. On an album like, I've got Marilyn Manson's Antichrist Superstar, which I bought within the last couple of months. And that's another bootleg from Roland Records, and that thing sounds fantastic. If you want an older pressing of that, it's $500 or $600. And the fact that I spent $35 for it, like I said, there probably is a sound difference between the two. Because there is between these two. Is it a difference that's really that noticeable? I don't think so. I don't think it is. I'm sure there are bootlegs out there that sound like absolute garbage, and I've heard some before. I do have, a lot of them, because a lot of bootlegs out there are from live shows. And I have some that sound like they were recorded from a cassette deck in the middle of the crowd. from 40, 45 years ago, and it just doesn't sound good. Those bootlegs, obviously I have issue with. Some of these, you know, standard album bootlegs also, I'm sure, are pressed by someone just kind of trying to crank something out and make a couple of bucks off of it. And, I think that's kind of where bootlegs get a bad rap. I've also noticed this growing trend over the last probably 5 to 6 months where I'll go into, because I try to go to different record stores every once in a while, and I've noticed I'm seeing more and more of these bootlegs that I'm seeing in stock on a place like Rolling Records, where you can buy it for $35, and I walk into a store and see it up on the wall for, 65, 70, $80 sometimes. And instead of bootleg on it, they just have a, European import tag on there, which this is, I guess you can consider it a European import. It came from Europe. It was pressed over there and shipped here. So I guess technically it's correct, but I'm seeing more and more record stores kind of pass these off as official albums. And I do have an issue with that. I think that it's disingenuous, I think, to the purchaser to try to pass that off as something other than what it is. Because like I said, like I said previously, there probably is a sound quality difference. Absolutely. I almost bet on it. And this is Lies is and I kind of keep going back to Lies because Lies is the only album I own an official pressing and a bootleg copy of. There is a sound quality difference. It's not huge. It's very subtle. And, I don't have a high-end stereo system. I've got I got a U-turn turntable and a Sony amplifier. And, it's nothing top of the line, but it's also not, the basic model either. So, if you've got a poor turntable, maybe you won't even notice that big of an issue, that big of a difference. Or if you've got a super high-end system, you might notice more of a sound difference. But like I said, I keep going back to the fact that, if you want to spend $500, $600, $700 on an official pressing of Antichrist Superstar, be my guest, go do it. But it just, I never want to tell someone else not what to do with their money. But, it just, you're kind of feeding the beast, I think. And it's things like that keep really driving up the price on used albums. And it's, when I got back into buying vinyl a couple of years back, I could pick up a used album for, $12, 12, maybe $14 was the max. And the places that I go to now, those same $12 or $14 albums, you're seeing it's like $17 or $18, which isn't a huge difference, but it's definitely, there's an inflated price, I think, there a little bit. And I think it's, a lot of these albums that are harder to find, that are going for higher dollar values, that are really kind of raising the ceiling, I think, on the vinyl market. So another argument out there I see a lot of people come down on bootlegs for is that's, from a digital source. And if you really think about it, most music has been recorded digitally since the late 90s with the invention of Pro Tools. And, and when that happened, a lot of artists kind of went away from recording on analog because it was such a time saver and the quality was still there. So if you take a digital format, a digital file, and you want to press it on vinyl, you can still have that great sound quality. If you have an uncompressed file, whether it's a WAV file or a FLAC file, that is going to sound really great compared to an MP3 file, which is a vastly compressed format of that digital file. So really, it's you can still have that great sound with a digital format, with a digital file. And there's a bootleg I have of one of Logic's earlier albums. And that sounds like it was taken from a CD. And the compressed file was just put on vinyl. It is not the best sounding bootleg I have. But, it's still not a terrible sounding album. It just doesn't have that great vinyl sound that you're really used to. And really, it doesn't even have a great CD sound to it either. So, that's kind of where I come down on it. Is I think it goes back to how it's sourced, how it's compressed, how it's engineered. There's a lot of factors that go into making a bootleg sound as good as or close to as good as the original album. Well, that's all I got for you today, guys. Thanks for checking the show out. Hopefully I didn't ramble on too long about how much I love bootlegs, but you can drop a comment down below and let me know what you guys think. There's a lot of people out there that really love bootlegs. There's a lot of people out there that really hate them, and then there's other people that really don't care one way or another. But just like I said, let me know what you guys think. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure that you give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button down below. And that's all I got. Come back and check out the show this Sunday. I'll finally be rejoined by Ian, and it should be a good show. Well, until next time, keep on spinning. Peace.